Okay, so we've got our 3 chemicals ready. Again, do all of that in the light, just so that you know that they're there. Got my 3 chemicals, my developer, my stop bath, and my fixer. And now I'm going to be looking at my paper, okay? And this is sort of the paper area of our little darkroom. So there's a bunch of different types of paper. The main thing you need to know is that these boxes should never be opened with the lights on, okay? These have to be opened with the dark red lights, right? With the main fluorescent lights off. And as well as those being off, your phones should be off and face down. So lock your phone and put it face down on a counter somewhere. And if you have a smartwatch or something like that, put it in theater mode, or just take it off and put it in your pocket, okay? So no light. If any light turns on, if you check your phone, it can ruin the whole block of paper. This is about $100 of paper in this box alone. So whenever you open up one of these boxes of paper, there's a plastic bag, that's a dark bag, and within that are the sheets of paper, okay? So that's to keep it so that they're doubly safe. So they're safe in the box, and then they're wrapped again in paper, or in a plastic bag, and then there's the paper. So if I look at the paper, this big number, 100, that's how many sheets are in this box. And then I have the type of paper, so this is glossy, okay? And the size, this is 8 by 10. So this is 8 by 10 glossy paper, okay? That's what's most important for you to understand. This one is 8 by 10 pearl, and pearl looks a little different than glossy. This one over here, this is art paper, okay? Art's a little bit different. And we're not gonna get into that with this project, but we will be using it in the future. This one is satin, okay? So you can also see that on the front, it says glossy right there. If I look at this one, this is 5 by 7 glossy. This is 5 by 7 pearl, okay? So it's always got a name on it. So the main ones you're gonna be using are glossy and pearl. Pearl is more of a matte finish, and glossy is a glossy finish, like a mirror. It's totally up to you. Your stuff's gonna look different on each one. It's just a personal decision. You're also gonna see this paper, okay? This big paper that has a big green Fujifilm on it, this is color paper. This can't even be opened in the orange lights, all right? You're not gonna use this semester, okay? This is for the advanced photo students. So if you see it up there, just keep that in mind. What you're also gonna notice is that you're gonna have boxes that say test on them. So we have, this is art paper. There's also test art. This says satin, and this says test satin. So the test boxes have what are called test strips. And test strips are thin, long pieces of photographic paper that you use to test your timing when you're developing your prints. You use that rather than a full sheet because you're just testing things out. I'm gonna show you some test strips over here and what those look like. So here's a test strip, and the test strip has a bunch of different brightnesses on it. We're gonna get into how to make these a little bit later. But a test strip is never the full sheet of paper, okay? It's used to test your brightness. So the photographer could look at this and say, oh, I want my print to look like this. So that's the time I'm gonna use it for. Again, we're gonna get into how to make a test strip and what it is a little bit later. But I want you to be aware that there's 2 boxes. There's gonna be a box that says glossy and a box that says glossy test, okay? Whenever you're testing, you use the test box. Whenever you're not testing, whenever you're making your final prints, that's when you use the full sheet. Again, that's a cost thing. The full sheet, it's about $2 to $3 per sheet in there, okay? So it can be really expensive. A test strip is usually about an 1 or 2 inch wide piece of that. If there are no test strips, so if you open up the test box and it's empty, you can shoot me an email, you can shoot Sabrina an email, and she'll come make more. You can also make more by coming over to this paper cutter, and this paper cutter has a little rotary on it that you just move towards you to cut. So you would, in the dark, again remember, this paper is never open to the light. In the dark, you would line it up and you could cut some test strips on this. You're welcome to do that if you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't, that's fine. So having test strips allows us to make tests without using a full sheet of paper. I just want to reiterate that. Now, as far as the full sheets of paper go, you don't have to pay for those. I use your student fees every semester to purchase a ton of paper. But if we get low, so if you open up one of these boxes and you say, hey, there's only like 20 sheets of this 100, sheet box of Glossy left, let me know and I will order more. I have more on the way right now, but I just want you to all be on the same page that if you're running low, you need to let me know, okay? Because I don't check the paper very often, and neither does our lab monitor because it's a whole process. So that's the basics of paper. For a contact sheet, we're gonna be using a test strip, and then we're gonna be doing a final contact sheet print. Okay, and that's what I'll show you next.